Let's look at how we go about creating a grouped product then. So I'm going to go to the catalog menu, and under there we have manage products option. Okay, and over on the right hand side we have the option to add a product. So I'm going to select that. Okay, we then get presented with the two initial questions, which is asking what attribute set the product's in and what the product type is. Okay, so I'll select the attribute set accessories. Obviously you would select an attribute set relevant to the type of product that you were creating, and the product type in this case is a grouped product. When I hit continue here, the questions that will be presented back and the information I have to fill in about the product will be based on the attribute set that product is in and also the type of product it is. So let's hit continue, and that will start that process. Okay, so a lot of the stuff I'm going to put in here is covered in the creating a simple product video. So you might want to go back and revisit that if you're unsure about some of the information that we're gonna be putting in. So I'm not going to go through in great detail on every single element, particularly if it clashes with what I talked about in the simple product video. So I'm just going to go through. So we need to give the product a name, obviously. So in this case, I'm going to call it holiday kit. Okay, so things that you might need for holiday. We're then going to put in a description. So okay, so things that you might need for your holiday, and I may repeat that here as well. So okay, so we've got a short description, long description. Now SKU is interesting when it comes to grouped products. Every product within your Magento store has to have a unique SKU, and when we create this, it will be in the back end of Magento class of the product, but there's no stock associated with this product. Okay, it's purely for reference only. The stock for this product will be based on the products that we put into the group. Okay, so you'll see that as we go through this. So I do need to put a SKU in there, and it does need to be unique. No other product can have that SKU. So I'm just going to call it GRP1, Group 1. Okay, we need to enable it, and it needs to have a visibility set. So in this case, we're going to have it catalog and search, so it appears in the categories and also can be found when you do a search for it. Okay, so coming down, images. Okay, so I'm going to upload an image for this this particular product. Right, to do that, I browse the files. Okay, I'm just going to go to my desktop, and I have an image there that I've just created. So I just open that, and I will now upload that. Okay, so there is our image. Let's give it a label, just so if someone hovers over it, there's some alt text on it, and we'll give it that label. We also want to assign it as the main product image, so that's the base image. Again, there's a video just on images, so you might want to review that and see whatever things you can do with these, but for this, we'll just make the base image the small image, which is the image that appears in the product category page, and the thumbnail, which appears in several places, including the checkout. We want them all to be that image. Okay, so then we come down to inventory. Right, you'll see here that we have no quantity within the inventory. Okay, so there's nothing that we can, there's no stock level that we can put in here. Right, but what we do have is we have the stock availability. And if I leave it as out of stock, it means that this product, nothing can be purchased from this product. Okay, so what we really need is we need to mark this product as in stock. So it's always worth checking with your products that if you're not seeing the buy now button or the add to basket button, it may well be that even as a grouped product, the stock availability has been set to out of stock, and by default stock availability is always set to out of stock when you are creating a new product, so you do have to go in and set that. Okay, come down to categories. I want to make sure it's in a category so I can view it in the front end of the site, so I'm going to pop it in the accessories category. Right, so that's the main things that I need to get that product up on the site. Now I need to tell it what the products that are part of that group. Okay, so what products make up this group product, and that I find under the associated products at the bottom, in the bottom tab. When I select this, what it shows me is a list of, let's open this up so we can see all of our products. Okay, it shows me the product grid, and it shows me a list of all of the products that we can add into there. Okay, the only products it's showing, it's worth noting, are simple products. Only simple products can be added to a grouped product. You can't add a configurable product, you can't add a bundle product. You can only add simple products. Okay, so it's worth bearing that in mind. And just if you're familiar with the products that we have, these are part of a configurable product. These are the simple products that make up a configurable. Okay, so it's all the various sizes that polo shirts come in, but actually the configurable product itself, okay, the parent product of that, is not actually available for us to add into this grouped product. Also worth bearing in mind that visibility does not come into play with group products either. So if the visibility is catalog or search, is not catalog or search, sorry, or is not visible individually, you can still add them into the grouped product and they will still show up in the grouped product. Okay, so it's worth bearing that in mind. So let's pick some things that we want as part of this group product. So let's have this straw hat. We'll maybe have some after sun and some sun cream. We'll give them a few different, a low-level sun cream and a higher-level one, so SPF 20 and SPF 50. Okay, we'll maybe put the towel in and the double lilo. Okay, so just an example of a few things that they could be taking on holiday with them. Right, if I hit save and continue here, okay, when I hit save and continue, when it goes back to the associated products page, by default what it does is it shows me the products that I've added into there. Okay, so I can see this column here, what it's saying is only show products that are yes, so have been added to this group product. If I wanted to add more products in there, I can either hit reset filter here. Okay, so I hit reset filter. Okay, and now it shows me all of the products, whether they're added or not, and I can just tick the ones that I now want in there. Or the other thing I could do is I could have just typed the SKU in there, or the start of the SKU, and done a search, and it would have found the products for us. Okay, let's go back and set that to yes, and just do a search on that because I only want to see the products that are added. Okay, so now we've added those. Over on this right hand side of the grid, you can see we've got default quantity and we've got position. So the default quantity is by default what is already selected. So I could say by default I want them to be selecting 2 of the sun cream there, and maybe I want to make sure they're selecting at least one of those. You can see the rest of them are defaulted to 0. So again, I want at least one after sun, and we want at least 1 beach towel, 1 lilo, and 2 straw hats. Okay, so we're suggesting to the customer that they buy 2 of the straw hat, 1 of the after sun, 2 of the factor 20, 2 of the factor 50, 1 of the factor 50, 1 of the lilo, 1 of the beach towel. Now let's have a look at what this looks like on the front end of the site. So I'm just going to hit save and continue. Okay, I put this into the accessories category, so I'm now going to have a look on the front end of my site at the accessories category. So I'll just refresh this page. Okay, so we can see the product here, and there's the image that we uploaded with it. Right, so what we see here is a list of the products, and you can see there that we have the quantities that we suggested. Now, this might not be the right order that we want these to appear in. So in which case what I can do is I can alter this column here which says a position. And by default all of the positions are 0, which means that there's no priority on any of the products in there. But what I can do is I can say, right, I want the Twister Beach Towel to be in position 1. Okay, so I might put position 1 in there. And I want the straw hat to be in position 2. Now what I've got to bear in mind is the lower the number, the higher up in the list they go, and 0 is obviously less than 1 or 2. So I need to go through a number every single one of these if I want to get a correct order. Otherwise, all the position zeros will appear above the position 1 and position 2. Okay, so I do need to go through and number them all. So I go 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so I've given myself an order there. So the main thing is that the beach towel should be top, the straw trilby hat should be second. Let's have a look. Okay, and refresh the page. And now you can see the twisted beach towel is now top and the straw trilby hat is second. Something very important to bear in mind with group products though is that Magento basically deals with them as if they were a normal simple product. And what I mean by that is that if I add this to cart, okay, so I'm adding all the recommended quantities there to my cart, you can see that each of the items have been added individually. Okay, so there's no reference here that this is a grouped product, and actually each of the items are dealt with as a single product in the checkout. So any rules that we might have based on shopping cart rules that those products might be applicable to will still be applicable in the checkout. Okay, it doesn't distinguish that they've actually come from a grouped product. But also something worth bearing in mind is, if I go back to the product itself, is that these quantities here are recommended quantities. Okay, they're advisory, if you like. The customer doesn't have to go by what you say, and actually the customer can completely override this. So they might not want any beach towels and they might not want any straw trilby hats, but they've decided they want 2 of those and they want 4 of those, but they don't want a lilo and they want another 2 of those. Okay, so if that, in that instance, they've overridden those, and when that's added to cart, it'll be added as those quantities. Okay, a couple of final things that I just want to draw your attention to. Firstly is, if we go down to the inventory tab here, if we mark the products as out of stock, okay, and have a look at how this looks on the front end. Okay, so it displays the item as out of stock and there's no add to cart or buy now button. And you can see though, we can still see the products that make up the group product. So obviously make sure that you do have the product as marked as in stock, otherwise customers will not be able to use this as a way of purchase. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that back as in stock. And we'll check that. Okay, so now it's marked as in stock, and you can see there that the add to cart button has reappeared. Also, the images that appear down here are the images that come from your individual simple products, so make sure they're defined okay. The image actually to promote the product, you'd need to kind of come up with some kind of image that's constructed out of maybe the elements in there. You can have multiple images, but again, you need just an image that represents the product. Okay, and also the same applies for your description and your short description. It doesn't pull any of that information from the product itself. Also, if your simple product had any special pricing that was appropriate or active at this time, you would see the special pricing here as well. And you would also see reference to any tiered pricing. Okay, so if you use tiered pricing, you would see that that price actually referenced in here as low as, or so many for however many pounds. Okay, so that in essence though is the grouped products. Where this is quite often used is in this kind of scenario where you almost like have a shopping list of products that a customer might want. So rather than having to go into each individual product, if they know what it is that they want, then they can see the shopping list and they can just simply go through and pick the quantities that they want. It also can be useful for B2B, business to business type transactions, where you may have a customer again who knows exactly what they want, and they just want to go down their order list and pick the quantities. So you could almost have one of these products in each category or in each store, which just lists all of the products, and so B2B customers can go in and they can just order the quantity that they require. I'm sure there's lots of other uses as well, but there's just a couple of ideas on how you could be using grouped products.